All right, so let's talk about women's NCAA preseason top 100 players and honorable mentions. This was dropped. This was dropped of the honorable mentions of the honorable mentions, and also the top 100 players going into the women's college basketball season. Um, this is going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting for the fact that a lot, a lot of, a lot of a lot of players on the teams. A lot of players on new teams. You got a lot of incoming freshmen that are big names that are teaming up with stars that are already at some of these colleges. So women's college basketball season is going to be a good season again. It's going to be a good season again. Um, it's a lot of it's a lot of teams to look forward to. There's a lot of players to look forward to. Um, yeah, there's a lot of teams to look forward to. There's a lot of players to look forward to this go around with it. Um, like it's it's a lot to be excited about. It is. It's a lot to be excited about. Far as the women's college basketball season, it's a lot to be excited about. Um, Last year, Don Stanley and South Carolina Gamecocks won the championship. Won the championship by beating Caitlin Clark and Iowa. Um, does Don Stanley's Gamecocks come in as the favorite for this season? I would go with yeah. With being the champions last year, I would say yeah, they're probably still the favorite for this year. But you have a lot of other teams who have stepped up their rosters. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting season when it's all said and done. It's going to be a very interesting season. Um, like let's talk about some of the honorable mentions we got. Honorable mentions on this list: Olivia Cochran, far as Louisville, far as Jeff Waltz. Olivia Cochran's been solid. She's been solid far as Louisville. Honestly speaking, I feel as though Haley Van Lift should have stayed there. Should have stayed there with Olivia Cochran. They were building um, Louisville up, and you guys would have made too. Teddy Left draft stock, WNBA draft stock was higher than. Her shot was better than her overall game and happiness seemed to be higher when she played for Louisville. Um, Olivia Cochran shows that like she got some post moves. She can back you in the post, layup, floater. She can shoot. She got a little bit of a jumper, rebounds very well, doesn't foul a lot. Um, shoot, she makes her free throws. You know. Also, I don't think they have. They don't have. I don't think. I think that was the last year for Nina Richards. You know, so it's basically her and Jada Curry because I believe Jada Curry's returning as far as Louisville. Those are like those would be like the go tos. But Olivia Cochran's solid big. I think she'll average about 12 and 6. 12 and 6, maybe more. It depending on the matchup. Matchups make the difference. But I think she's going to be a heavy part of their offense this year. She's gonna be a heavy part of Louisville's offense and what they do and how far they go. She'll be a big part of that. Um, who else is on this list? Tessa Johnson for South Carolina. Now, last year she was a freshman, but she came up big during their run for the championship. She came up big for them. Um, Shot the three very well, can pass the ball very well, doesn't get too sped up, out of control. Um, I think she's primed for a good sophomore year. She's primed for a good sophomore year. Um, like offensively, defensively, I want to see like more of what she got to offer defensively. Like offensively, she's a solid backup. She's a solid backup point guard for Raven Johnson. Tessa Johnson is a solid backup for Raven Johnson. You know, runs the second unit when she's in, gets everybody involved. Who play? I know. I know the women play USA. Nigeria plays USA. I got Team USA beating Nigeria, and then who else? Who else? There's another game that comes on. Oh, that's about to be one. The hell. I'm going with France. I'm going with France to beat Germany. I'm going with France to beat Germany. And I got Team USA women beating Nigeria. But Nigeria is not going to fold. I can't say that. I don't think Nigeria is going to fold. They've been playing kind of solid. And France is led by Gabby Williams. So that's whatever Gabby Williams is able to do is as far as France is going to go. Um, yeah, that's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting as far as Tessa Johnson. You got Tessa Johnson. You got um, Malaysia for Wiley. You're bringing in Maddie McDaniel, who's one of the top point guards. Um, that's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be an interesting situation of how that's gonna work. I still think Tessa's gonna get her minutes. I know Tessa's gonna get her minutes. Don seems to find the right moments and the right games to highlight Tessa Johnson. And that I kind of noticed last season. Like she picked the like right moments and like she shined right in those moments. So that's that's good. That's good. I think like I still think she's primed for a. I still feel as though Tessa Johnson's primed for a really good sophomore season. Primed for a really good sophomore season. Um, Bree McDaniel, as far as the Terps, Bree McDaniel is a dog. She's a dog, as far as the Terps. Hustle plays, diving on the floor. She shot the three very well last year. Mid range. Like she can drive to the bucket. Like she can kind of like score all three levels. She's gonna play a big part of what they do again this year. Um, it's basically gonna be Bree McDaniel and Bree McDaniel and Cheyenne Sellers. The y'all are probably those are gonna be the leaders as far as Maryland. Like Maryland is only gonna go as far as y'all take, honestly. Uh, Sanaya Fegan, like Sanaya Fegan, even though she came off the bench, far as downside in the Gamecocks, in the minutes she played, she still made a difference. Whether it's defending, whether it's rebounding, whether it's extra possessions, whether it's scoring. Sometimes she affected the game, and like what she was doing didn't show up in the stat sheets. Sometimes it doesn't. Um, she's gonna have a solid year. She's gonna have a solid year. Um, I would like to see a little bit more scoring from Sanaya Fegan, though. A little bit more scoring. Um, a lot of times, I know Dallas Stanley probably doesn't even run plays for her, but I would like to see some scoring from her. I want to see some scoring from her. Like I see that she's playing like in the women's leagues, a women's league during summer. I saw a picture for that. So I think she's gonna be primed for a good season. Who else is on here? Cheyenne Dave Wilson. Cheyenne Dave Wilson. Let's talk about it. She's she's a great player. Great player. She's from Canada. Um, High ranked player for us Canada coming out of high school. Initially went to Duke. I believe she won freshman of the year for us Duke. Um, then she ended up transferring and going to Miami last season. She ended up going to Miami last season. Um, Now, so she stayed in ACC because Duke's ACC, Miami's ACC. She had a solid season at Miami last year, but it's interesting. It did. She didn't stay. She didn't stay there though. So it's like I don't know what's the deciding factor to why she went to Duke. I didn't understand leaving Duke. Like you were primed to be that next star at Duke. You were primed to be the next star at Duke. You won freshman of the year. I think if you came back, you would have went back to Duke. You would have stepped it up a notch. Like I didn't I I don't know what it was that made you leave. Like Carol Lawson, great coach. Like I don't every player has their reasons for why they leave. But it's like you seem like you were in a great situation there. Great situation there. So I didn't see leaving. It didn't seem like it didn't seem like it made sense to leave. Now LSU with Kim Mulkey. Um, Now let's talk about it. This is what I'm noticing with Kim Mulkey now. Like, granted, Kim Mulkey got Alexis Morris to come to LSU and won a championship. Haley Van Lith came to LSU last year, hoping to win a championship, but her production and even WNBA draft all that was out the window. Her stock plummeted. Like she didn't play well. Like offensively, it was hit or miss. Defensively, she's a liability. So she didn't have a good season last year. Now, this year, you bring in Cheyenne Day Wilson. I'm not mad at Cheyenne Day Wilson choosing to go to LSU, but it's like, okay, now this is your third school. What are you hoping to get from Kim Mulkey that you didn't get with the I don't know what the coach's name at Miami is, but and also Carol Lawson. Like, what are you looking for? Like the glamour and the glitz that comes with LSU is cool, but it's like if you don't produce, and I'm sure you want to be in the talks as far as the WNBA and the box drafts. I'm sure, but if you don't produce it, this is going to be another situation like Kelly Van left last year. You you know, only difference is you produced being a freshman for Duke, went to Miami last year and produced. And if you come in far as LSU and produce, I think you're solid. I think you're solid. You have a chance of competing to be the starting point guard for LSU. The only other person that could possibly stop being the way of that would be last tier Poa. Last tier Poa. You know, whereas you're more of an offensive weapon and you play solid defense. Um, Poe is more so of a defensive player. So it all depends on how Cam Mulkey sets up that starting five for next year. That's what that's going to depend on. Um, but I think Saturday Wilson will be fine though. Um, I think she'll produce. I think she will produce far as um she'll produce. I don't think that's going to be a problem. I don't. I don't think that honestly should be a problem. Um, yeah, I don't think that should be a problem. Um, who else still here? Nyla Harris. Now I didn't know Nyla Harris was coming. Nyla Harris was a bucket as far as LSU. So LSU is going to look has some talent coming in. Like LSU should be a solid team. Not so you talking about you got Olivia Cochran coming back, you got Nyla Harris coming back. Nyla Harris coming back, Jada Curry coming back. You add McKinley Randolph into that equation for this coming season, which is one of the top freshmen. Um, like I said, I don't think Nina Rickards is coming back there. So, you know, but they shaping out to be a decent team. Um, Aaliyah Matharu. Aaliyah Matharu, she started at Texas, now's at Florida. She had a solid year at Florida last year. As far as like scoring, I think she picks up where she left off at last year. That's what I think for her. Stay healthy, work on your shot, not getting sped up. I think Aaliyah Matharu is straight far as Florida. Um, Ashlyn Shade, far as UConn, with all the injuries far as UConn, she was one of the two freshmen that were forced to start, forced to start last year for UConn. But Ashlyn Shade, like, rose to the occasion. She rose to the occasion, shooting the three very well from the corners, rebounding, defending, wasn't afraid of the moment. You know, I think she played solid. She played solid. She's got to bring that again this time around for UConn. She's got to bring it this time around. She's gonna end up going to the bench this year. She's gonna end up coming off the bench, but she's still gonna have the same hunger, and play with the same confidence, even coming off the bench. UConn's gonna need it. Like they're gonna need it from her. They're gonna need it from her. Um, Those are some solid honorable mentions. Solid honorable mentions. Now, when we start talking about some of the list of the top 100 players, and they have Tennessee's Jewel Spear at 98 on this list. Jewel Spear had a solid season as far as Tennessee last year. Solid season. Um, Shot the ball decent. Couple of rebounds, couple of assists. I think for her, just take the simple shots. Take the simple shots that when she's open, no forcing offense. Um, defend, defend without fouling. But like she is a bucket. She's a bucket. She's gonna be a major factor for Tennessee this year. She is. She's gonna be a major factor for them this year. Um, some of the other notable players on this list. Oluchai Akanawa, as far as Duke, she had a solid freshman year for Duke. Coming off the bench, coming off the bench for Duke, um, Oluchi Lucy was solid. Um, like her length was a problem for a lot of players. Like her defense basically led to her offense, but she was like instant offense off the bench. She was. She's got to continue and bring that into her sophomore year. She's 88 on the preseason top 100 players as far as women's college basketball list. Um, she could be trying to be a big factor in what Duke does this year. Definitely could be a big factor in it. As far as offense, I need some more scoring, and Oluchi can definitely give y'all that. She can give you some scoring. At number 84, they have UConn's KK Arnold. Now, KK was the other freshman who started alongside Ashlyn Shade. KK Arnold had a solid freshman year. Um, Her thing is she's got to not foul. Like she's got to not foul and not get like dribble in the traffic and then try to pass it out, which led to turnovers at points. She's got to slow down at points. Like she's like Speedy Gonzalez at points. She's got to slow it down. Her shot was decent. A couple of rebounds, couple of assists. She's gonna end up going to the bench this year too. She's got to carry over from freshman year to sophomore year. Her and Ashley Shade got to be like a 1-2 punch off UConn's bench. You know, After having good freshman years, it got to trickle over to sophomore year for them. It has to trickle over. Um, number 80, number 80 on this list is Deja Kelly. Let's talk about Deja Kelly. Deja Kelly for the first 4 years. I want to say first 4 years. The first 3 years was at UConn, North Carolina, UNC for the first 3 years, deciding to transfer. Well, she graduated, so we're not even gonna say transfer. She graduated, and now she's at Oregon, first Oregon Ducks. Um, this is interesting. This is an interesting situation for her to leave and well graduate and go to Oregon. She had an up and down kind of season last year as far as UNC, but she had solid numbers. She had solid numbers. Still averaging double figures. Um, I think she's got to work on shot selection. Sometimes she kind of forces offense because she's trying to, like, the team could be down, they need a shot, and we know she's the go-to player, but it's like you may need a shot, but you need a quality shot, not just throw a shot up. So shot selection, shot efficiency. Um, but it's interesting. She goes to Oregon. Deja Kelly goes to Oregon to replace Chance Gray because Chance Gray just left from Oregon. Is now going to be at Ohio State this year with the Buckeyes. So kind of makes sense, you know. Then again, this kind of also makes sense because um last before last season, Kennedy Todd Smith left from UNC to go to Ole Miss. So it must be something going on there that Kennedy Todd Smith didn't like, and then now Deja, your big name player, leaves too. Like it's got to be more to it. It's more to it. These players are not leaving just to leave. Not just leaving just to leave. That's the best way to put it. But I think Deja Kelly will have a solid year. She'll have a solid year. As far as Oregon, I don't know who else she'll have there to play with. Um, she may be the only big name player there. Um, hopefully she has a decent supporting cast. That's what we're gonna hope for. She has a decent supporting cast. Um, at 77, you got Baylor, Sarah Andrews. Sarah Andrews is kind of came into her own. Um, her shots got better. She's always been a defensive guard. Her shots got better. Shoots the three at a consistent clip. Couple of dimes, some rebounds. Uh, I think she's primed to up her numbers in her senior year. Yeah, I believe this is senior year for Sarah Andrews. So I think her numbers go up this year. She's playing in the backcourt with um, Jada Walker. Jada Walker, you know. So I think they play pretty decent together. They play kind of work well as a duo in Baylor's backcourt. But I think Sarah Andrews' numbers goes up. And at number 70, they have Madison Scott as far as Ole Miss. Now, mind you, Madison Scott could have went in the draft last season and chose to come back to play at Ole Miss with Coach Yo. Um, I think it's a great decision because they bring back basically their whole roster for the most part. I believe basically most of their players are coming back. Mine is Marquisha Davis because she went the draft. She was like she went the draft. So I think Ole Miss pretty much brings back everybody. Madison Scott, couple of 20-point games, but like her her knowing where to shoot, when to shoot and when to pass has been amazing to watch. I think she becomes more dominant this season, as far as like numbers wise. I think her numbers go up this year. Like she's shown she can shoot a three. She can step out and shoot long range jumpers too, or the mid range, like free throw line and around. So I kind of look forward to like what she does this season. Her and Kennedy Todd Williams, you know, they play well together defensively. They kind of play off each other. You know, I think the numbers go up this year though. She's gonna be their go to this year. So them numbers will definitely be higher. Um, Talia Scott at number 69 was at Arkansas last year. Was at Arkansas last year, played some games, and then injured her back and didn't play. Um, in the games that she played, she did average, I think, 20 points. Like she was their offensive weapon as a freshman. Now she chose to transfer. She's at Auburn this year. I don't know what sparked her transferring, but she's a bucket. She's a bucket. Like she don't force offense. Like her shot is smooth. Like she can pretty much rebound it, keep going to the other end. One more fast break. Her shot's pretty consistent. I haven't seen her really too much force offense. It kind of just kind of in the flow with them playing. Also on this list at 67, you have Reagan Richardson far as Duke. Reagan Richardson came up big for Duke last year. Um, has some decent scoring. She has some 20-point scoring games in the mix. Like she has a good frame. She has a good frame. She's defending all the top players, but she can also defend them and also go get a bucket on them. I think she builds off of last season for this season. I think she's still the go-to. She's still going to be the go-to for Duke offensively. She's going to be their go-to. Um, so would you know that's as far as I'm going as far as the list. But there's a lot of things to talk about with what we're looking forward to with the women's college basketball season coming up. Players to look for, teams to look for. This is only episode one of NCAA Chat. By the time we get closer to the season, can break down uh, a lot of these the big name teams and potential starting fives. About to go watch this France game as far as the Olympics. So I'll holler at y'all.